This is a horror story from back when I was in college. It goes like this. At the time, I was studying in the Shonan area of Kanagawa Prefecture. I lived in the city of Maokai, in my aunt's house, since she was usually overseas. I was alone in the house, so no one disturbed me, and I saved a lot on rent. It was a bit far from campus, but I thought it was worth it. Near my aunt's house was a quiet rural road crossing. Many people went there to end their lives. No one really knew why. Most didn't leave any notes. Right beside that crossing was an old Shinto shrine. During the day, the crossing was busy with cars and pedestrians, the train rack bustling with life. But late at night, when the streets fell silent, everything became eerily still, only insects chirping in the air. When I was still a student, I rode my bike past that crossing every day on the way to school. To me, it was just a normal road, nothing special. I didn't know about the rumors back then. One day after class, I stopped at a butcher's near the crossing to buy some fried pork cutlets. I overheard some elderly locals chatting. They told me the story. For a long time, every year, many young people died at that crossing. The locals believed a yokai, a malevolent spirit, was to blame, so to pray for safety, they built that shrine nearby. After the shrine was built, accidents became less frequent, but every year, at least one person still died there. Before then, I had no idea about this dark history. I was living my life smoothly, never dreaming it'd face something truly terrifying. One night, I was finishing a late shift at work. It was quite late, nobody on the street. I was about to cross that railroad when a train came by. The warning bells on the crossing rang out, and the gate slowly lowered. I stood there, watching blankly. The warning sounds grew louder, and my vision blurred. The scene before me twisted and warped. Suddenly, I saw a thick white fog rise up over the tracks, but the fog felt strange and natural. Then, what should have been outside the gates, waiting for the train to pass, was suddenly me, standing right on the tracks, trapped inside the fog. At that moment, I wasn't scared. Instead, I felt an overwhelming, almost ecstatic sensation, like a blissful hallucination. I didn't know how to describe it, just pure happiness and comfort. I heard beautiful singing voices of a man and woman humming softly, as if in a dream. Just as I was sinking deeper into that strange bliss, I noticed a figure a short distance ahead. He was a silent shadow, at least 2 meters tall, wearing a huge mask. In his hands, he held a shakuhachi, a traditional Japanese bamboo flute. On either side of him sat 2 foxes. The man spoke in a threatening voice, "Child, don't be fooled." Suddenly, the 2 foxes charged toward me. Then, the masked man's voice shifted deeper, almost otherworldly. "Child, come here." In an instant, it felt like he pulled me toward him. The surroundings whirled rapidly, but I felt a clear, minus-headed awareness. I heard him say by my ear, "Next time, you'll have to rely on yourself." And just like that, I snapped awake like jolting out of a dream. I opened my eyes to find myself sweating, kneeling beside the shrine on the far side of the crossing. I remembered I had been waiting for the train to pass just moments ago. Right then, the train sped past behind me. The warning bells stopped. The gate slowly rose. Silence fell again. That experience felt so unreal. On the way home, I wondered, were the souls of all those young people who died here trying to pull someone my age into their world? Later, I told 3 close friends at school about it. They all laughed. One, more daring than the rest, joked, "Hd, go explore the crossing to find the answer." After that, I avoided going near the crossing. Not long after, that bold friend stopped coming to class, like he vanished. No one could contact him. Then, one early morning, someone found him. He'd taken his own life at that crossing. But me and the other 2 friends never believed he killed himself. He was lively, unthriving. He had no reason to die. The only thing I could think of was that maybe he really did go exploring and got caught by something terrible, something that took him away. This is a chilling urban legend. The story goes like this: a woman named Misa was driving alone at night along a lonely road. Her gas was running low, so she thought about stopping for fuel, but she was in a remote area with barely anyone around. End of part 1. She happened to find a gas station still open not far from there. Pulling her car up and parking, she tried to get some fuel, but the pump wouldn't start. Frustrated, she honked her horn. Then she saw a man emerge from inside, a man with a deeply sunken face, chilling and unsettling in his presence. His eyes narrowed coldly as he stared straight into her car. He began filling her tank, but kept glancing up and down at her as if sizing her up, as if some dark thought brewed behind those hollow eyes. Misa felt a wave of discomfort. She just wanted to finish paying quickly and leave this eerie place. She handed over her credit card. The man's voice was unexpectedly harsh. "Long, this card's fake. It won't work." "What? No, this is a legitimate card. Not fake," Misa protested, but he ignored her protest completely, refusing to listen. "This is a counterfeit card. Mum, please come with me." Before she could react, he yanked her bodily out of the car, gripping her arm with a strength that made her gasp, dragging her toward the small office nearby. Misa's heart pounded. This is bad. I'm doomed. Panic welled up inside. She had no idea what this man intended to do to her in such a deserted place. She screamed for help, but her voice was swallowed by silence. There was nowhere to run. Inside the office, he slammed the door shut behind them. The man's grim face loomed close. Misa knew there was no escape this time. Just as she was about to give up and let whatever come happen, he suddenly said something she never expected. He sank down, sitting on the floor. "Mum," he said, voice trembling, "you need to call the police. Right now." She blinked, stunned. "What?" He peeked cautiously out the window, then met her eyes again. "I saw something under your car's back seat," he said. "A man, bloodshot eyes, hiding there. He had a kitchen knife. To keep you safe, I had to drag you here suddenly, even if it sounded like nonsense." By the time the police arrived, they found a kitchen knife tucked beneath the back seat, but the man, he had vanished without a trace. He went on to tell her a chilling story. A few years back, the company had sent him for training, a rigorous 8-day, 7-night boot camp to earn a medium-sized truck license. It was held in a lodge, like a remote little inn. He shivered telling it. Even now, the memory made him tremble. After graduating high school, Achidi decided college wasn't for him, so he started working at a large local shipping company. Over 2 years later, the company ordered him to attend this training in the neighboring county. The place where he stayed was far nicer than a regular dorm, more like a small inn, with great facilities. Achidi cleared check-minus in, stored his luggage, and started the training right away. Driving practice filled the evenings, and though exhausting, it was exciting work. By day's end, he had his own tiny room, a single 4-meter tatami mat space with a bed in the middle. Against the left wall was a closet with folding doors. On the right a desk and chair. Though small, the room was spotless. He felt at ease for the first time in the camp. That night, he collapsed onto the bed and quickly fell asleep. But suddenly, he awoke. The lights were off. The room was pitch black. He looked up, eyes adjusting to the gloom. From the closet's crack, faint light shimmered. Was there a light on inside the closet? He stared at the glow, entranced by the soft flicker. Then a shadow flickered inside. "What's that?" he thought. Maybe a rat or something. The thought made him uneasy, curious. He got up, opened the folding doors slowly. Inside, nothing unusual. No rats, He was about to close it when something caught his eye. A piece of paper lying there. He bent to pick it up. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open. He was back in bed with the room's light on. It had been a dream, but the dream had been so vivid, so real. Just then, Mise's mind snapped back to her own nightmare unfolding outside the safety of dreams. The eerie gas station. The man with sunken eyes. She shivered at the memory, heart still pounding. Just as I started to wonder, I suddenly felt my right hand gripping something tightly. I lifted it in front of me and saw that it was the same scrap of paper I had picked up in my dream. My heart jumped in shock. What was this? Without even checking what it was, I balled the paper up and tossed it into the trash can by the bed. Then I turned off the light and went back to sleep. The next morning, I'd already forgotten everything that happened the night before. The whole day I spent buried in study. Actually doing the driving lessons was kind of fun. But for the classroom stuff, man, I was constantly fighting off sleepiness. That night, I was chatting with friends on my phone and before I knew it fell asleep with the light still on. Then the unbelievable happened. I dreamed exactly the same dream as the night before. And when I woke, just like last night, the paper scrap was in my right hand. Not again, I thought, feeling sick, tired from the training. I didn't bother checking what the paper was this time either. I just crumpled it up again and threw it toward the trash can. On the third morning, I woke up barely 10 minutes before breakfast ended. Panicked, I rushed down to the cafeteria. After eating, I immediately got back to studying. And that night, the same dream repeated itself. Same as before. I crushed the paper into a ball and threw it in the trash. By the fourth night, after training had finally ended, I was lying on my bed and the curiosity got the better of me. What exactly was this paper I kept crumpling and throwing away every night? I glanced in the trash can, only to find it empty. Apparently, cleaning staff came into the room each day and emptied the trash completely, so there was no way to check. I gave up and just went to sleep. Sure enough, the same dream accompanied by the paper in my right hand returned yet again. This time, I looked closely at the paper. There was no writing I could make out. It was just an old, tattered UDA, a kind of protective talisman common in Japan, usually posted on doors or pillars for blessings from gods and spirits. In my exhaustion and drowsiness, I couldn't think straight. So of course, I crumpled that paper up, just like before, and threw it in the trash. By the fifth night, it calmed down enough to think about it seriously. This repeated dream, waking up clutching an UDA, felt deeply strange and unsettling. I started to suspect the closet must be hiding some secret. I moved everything stuffed inside the closet onto my bed, searching carefully, from the shelves, floor, to the walls. No abnormalities. But suspicion gnawed at me, so I checked every corner of the room, even underneath the bed and behind the desk. Nothing. No tear marks or evidence of other UDA. Still, on both the fifth and sixth nights, the dreams came back. Each morning, my right hand still gripped the same scrunched hang-up paper. My feelings had shifted from disgust to a growing fear, because I was someone who sleepwalked. And more than that, I had zero clue where this UDA scrap could possibly have come from. Then came the final night. The night I still shudder to recall. The constant fatigue and mounting terror wore me down. I was so tired of the whole thing. I thought, if I don't sleep, I won't have the dream, and with the morning training ending the next day, staying up overnight couldn't hurt. So that night, I resolved to stay awake and see what actually went on after dark. I lay in bed scrolling through my phone to pass the time, when suddenly I heard a sound. I stopped moving and listened closely, trying to locate where it was coming from. It seemed to be coming from the closet. I got up and pressed my ear to the door. The sound was like nails scraping on the closet's folding doors, click click, making a soft but distinct scratching noise. Fear rose like a cold wave from deep inside me, but knowing it already made up my mind to stay awake, I forced myself to find out where the noise led. Summoning all my courage, I pulled open the closet. Inside, nothing. That was weird. I could still clearly hear the noise. Then I realized the closet door itself was still making the sounds. So I stepped inside the closet and closed the folding door behind me, locking the faint light coming in through the cracks into a backwards blow. My eyes took a moment to adjust to the darkness, but when they did, what I saw was more terrifying than anything I had imagined. The inside surface of the folding door, from top to bottom, was covered in marks, the remnants of where countless of UDA had been pasted. Goosebumps rose on my skin. I scanned down from the top of the door, and then at my feet, I saw something even more impossible. A woman dressed in white sat on the floor, focused intently, with long fingernails. She was meticulously scratching, click click, trying to peel off the very last of UDA stuck at the bottom edge of the folding door. At first glance, there was a terrifying, heart-breaking weight to her presence, an overwhelming, powerful grudge pressing down on the room. The moment I saw her, it hit me so hard, my breath almost caught in my throat. My foot was right next to the talisman then. Maybe my foot disturbed her. Slowly, she traced a path along my leg with her eyes upwards, until she locked onto my face. Her eyes were rimmed with veins, bloodshot and wild, staring straight through her long, withered hair, and she just stared, unblinking. Pure, unfiltered accusation. I screamed and bolted out of the closet. Those few seconds trapped with her in that narrow wardrobe, that thought alone made my whole body freeze in terror. I couldn't stay another moment in that room. I scrambled, nearly crawling, and dashed straight out. In the living room, I curled up on the sofa, hugging my knees, trembling uncontrollably. The next morning, I ended up asleep on that sofa, and was woken by the dorm staff. "Why are you sleeping here?" he asked. I started to explain that my room mid-meanest sentence he interrupted.